Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Papa Boris, and in this video, I am going to show you the Seek and Destroy 3 puzzle. The object in this one is to find and shred the smallest data cube in the entire room. So you're only going to shred one thing, and that's the smallest out of all these cubes. I'm going to be honest, in this one, I am just insanely proud of myself, and I'm going to be gloating and bragging quite a lot, because I'm normally not that great at these programming games, but here I completely fucking smashed it, so hope you don't mind that, and if you do, I am really sorry, but I'm not sorry. So anyway, let's go ahead and do the same thing as we did before. We're going to say, okay, let's memorize the location of the nearest shredder. Let's make memory 1 our slot, where we have the smallest number in the column. Going to be a preliminary 99. We'll take a step up. At that point, if what is above me is less than what I've got stored in memory, then I want to make sure to update my memory with whatever's above me, because that number is my new smallest number. Then we're going to say that if I'm not yet at the wall up here, then let's just keep on walking. So if I'm at this line of code, I will then have been at the wall. I'll be at the wall, and I will have in memory 1 the location of the smallest number in my column. So at this point, I really struggled with the puzzle, because I was like, okay, so basically everyone's going to get up to the wall, and they'll have their smallest cube memorized. But then how do you write it so that these people all figure out which among them has the smallest cube? And it was kind of a difficult puzzle, compounded by the fact that the people don't reach the wall at the same time, because people who have to get into these ifs more often, like people who have to override their number more often, are gonna reach the wall slower, since the people who are climbing up, let's say their smallest number is right here, they're going to pick it up and just breeze on up to the wall. Whereas these people, in addition to having to make their step commands, are also going to be doing these overriding commands, which take place at the same time as the people with smaller numbers are just stepping up to the wall. And I was completely stumped. And then I had a moment of inspiration. I was like, wait a minute. This would be so much easier if instead of having all these workers figure out a number and then have to compare them to figure out who's got the smallest one, if there was just one worker. If it was just one worker and they could just go through this entire grid, it would be so much easier to find the smallest number. And so at that point, I completely demolished this puzzle and was prouder of myself than I've ever been while playing any programming game. I was like, all right, whatever, I've peaked. Nothing I ever do in my life will be as amazing as what I've just achieved here. So first, we're going to write some code to kill everybody off. I'm going to use this worker to do the puzzle. Everyone else can just fucking die. What separates this worker from everybody else is the fact that she is next to a blank space. There's a couple of ways you could do this, by the way, but just a really clean way is if the thing to your left is not blank floor, that means you are not this lady, and so what you need to do is die. And this is a bit of a quirk in the game. If you try to give to a shredder and you're not holding a data cube, I don't know why this is, but for some reason the workers will just dive into the shredder and kill themselves. So these 2 lines of code, it's not 3 because I'm going to have to do this anyway. Locating the location of the shredder is something I have to do eventually anyway to actually be able to drop off the data cube. So this is not really a line of code, but these 2 lines of code kill off everybody but this lady. Now at this point, we're in this line of code, we're this lady, we're at the wall, and our memory slot contains the smallest number in this column. What happens next will be very reminiscent of an earlier puzzle, the injection sites, where you had to find an empty hole in a line of data and drop a cube into it. And the way that we solved it was by just traveling down. If you don't find a hole, travel back up to the top, take a step to the right, travel down, and then go up to the top. If you still haven't found a hole, step to the right, travel down, and so on, to very inefficiently go through the whole grid until you find a hole. Well, here we're doing the exact same thing conceptually. We're just, instead of looking for a hole, we're looking for a smaller number than what's in memory 1, our small number slot. So again, at this point in the code, we're at the top of the wall, we've got the smallest number in this column. So all we have to do now is go to the bottom row. So I'm going to say that if what's below you isn't the wall, then you got to keep moving down and repeat. Bloop. So now, if you're in this part of the code, the lady has reached the bottom. And what she has to do is take a step to the right. Now, if she is already in this space, then that means that she's basically finished the puzzle, because at this point, she's been through all the columns. So at that point, we say if what is to the right is the whole, then she needs to pick up the location of the smallest number she's ever found, give it to the shredder, and then we're done. Now, if this does not trigger, that means she's not yet at the hole, so she's got to take a step to the right and repeat the basic code for traveling up and finding the smallest number, which is right here. You got to be a little bit careful not to repeat this line because we don't want to override memory 1 with a new blank number. We want to keep it because if it's smaller, if the smallest number from this column is smaller than any in this column, we want to keep the one from this column. It's different from the previous puzzle where each time you have to reset because your job is now to find the new smallest number in the column. Like let's say you find a 1 in the column and you go shred it, you now need to find a number that's the new smallest number, which is going to be greater than the one that you just shredded, so you have to reset your memory bank, but here you do not want to reset it. All right, and so in 17 steps we get this done. Everybody goes dies, and she's just going to walk up and down a whole bunch. And the code is going to end right in here. So it looks like this repeats forever, but eventually she'll trigger this if, and then that will end the program. So traveling down, we're done. Pick it up, shred it, boom. So 22 is the size challenge. I got this done in 17. I shredded it, pardon the pun, by 5 commands. And this actually was the fastest solution found at release. If you ever go to the manager and talk to him or her about the optional challenges, it'll say like use this many commands, but the shortest known solution at the time of release was 17. So this is like the only time it's ever happened. Well, there was like I think one other puzzle where I managed to beat the optional size challenge by like a command and match the shortest known solution. But this time it was a significant savings and I matched it. So I'm really proud of myself. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like it or subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.